Right, we're back. Canelo versus Skull, boys. First of the two undisputed fights this weekend. This one in Riyadh and Nue Cardenas at the T-Mobile in Vegas. Canelo, can he get his first knockout since 2021 against Caleb Plant? Remarkable that we're sat here saying that with somebody of Canelo's skill level. Big up to DJ Pat in the chat as always. Canelo, and no doubt it will KO Skull. There we go. There's the answer from Pat himself. Due to body shots. William Scull winning the belt, then IBF champion against Vladimir Shishkin last time out. Hurt in the last round was a pretty dull affair, shall we say. I think that's putting it mildly in the case of that one. But this is all about Canelo, isn't it? Turkey's paid him the big bucks. Same, apparently, as he was due to make to face Jake Paul before Turkey came and sorted that out at the 11th hour. So yeah, go on then, boys. Canelo, Skull, talk to me. I mean, you can probably tell by the way I'm talking here, I'm not overly enthused about it. I know you boys aren't either after just talking to you about it off camera. But yeah, let's dissect it because no doubt we'll be watching.
We know why we're getting the fight. We're getting it because the IBF wanted to make their 3% somewhere else for one fight, so they put it on Skull and Shishkin, and the winner of that was always going to get Canelo. The only question mark was, were they going to be allowed one defense of the belt before they had to go to Canelo? But unfortunately, Skull is the lamb to the slaughter on Sunday morning our time by the time we get this fight. It's being sold for the fact it's to make Canelo a two-time undisputed champion. But as I said last night, there's 5, 6, 7, 8 168ers who are better than Skull that would give Canelo a better fight if they had the belt. The reality is Skull is in there because he's the champion. You mentioned he hasn't had a stoppage since 2021, and that's when he beat Plant, which is when he picked up this belt the first time. So it's got to be a stoppage, really. I know we said similar for the Belanga fight, and we didn't get the stoppage in the end. But Belanga, once he was knocked out in the 5th, very much wanted to survive, and Canelo was very happy to put on a showcase for the Mexican people, wasn't he? For the money Turkey's paid, for the fact that he's rearranged the whole shape of a Saudi card for the first time to fit an American audience, Canelo needs to go out there and make a statement. If we're sitting there going into round 8 or 9 on a Sunday morning, then we're going to be asking questions about Canelo and where exactly he's at. Jay said off camera earlier about if Canelo goes to points in this fight, it will be easier to make him come over to the UK to fight Eubank Jr. because Eubank will think, oh, what's Canelo got left? Is he on the slide? However, if he blows him away in 3 or 4 rounds, I think we probably see Crawford at the Raiders Stadium in September. I think that's the 2 ways Canelo goes. It has to be a stoppage for me. It has to be early. If he goes past 5 or 6 rounds, then there'll be question marks for me.
Definitely. Big up Mad Mitch TV, top man for joining us always, and DJ Pat J.
Yeah, I mean, Liam's pretty much said everything that needs to be said about this fight. It's, until Skull fought Shishkin, barely anybody had heard of him, and the only reason people were watching that because it was the Canelo Stakes. Who's fighting Canelo next? Who's giving him his belt back? I've actually flip-flopped with this over the past few weeks. I thought there was a chance that Skull could pull off a shock. And there still is a chance he could pull off a shock. I just don't think it's going to be tonight, on the night. I think Canelo looks really good. Doesn't look like he's struggling to get to 168 at all. He looked really thin in the face, but not drawn. He looked on point. And I think this is just a spotlight that he needs. I know Canelo's ordinarily in the spotlight, but in America, the rest of the world don't normally sit up and take notice. The fact that he's connected now to Riyadh and Saudis, I think more people are going to take notice. And I know that sounds stupid, like I'm saying Canelo's a nobody. I'm not saying that. But outside of America, only real boxing heads sit up and take notice. But even my missus has noticed adverts on the TV. Oh, Canelo's fighting, blah, 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 what's going on? And I've had a chat with somebody at work about it. So it's reaching a wider audience. This is set up perfectly for Canelo to do the business and then call out whoever, be that they announce the Crawford fight, he comes to Wembley, or he calls out the winner of Beterbiev Bivol 3. I don't know. But ultimately, I think he should walk through Skull. And that's no slight on Skull. I just don't believe that Skull has boxed at a high enough level consistently to worry a Canelo that's on point. And if Canelo turns up, like I think he will do, this ain't going past 6 rounds. Again, this ain't going past 6 rounds. And if it does, then it's a poor performance by Canelo.
Agreed. That's exactly where I'm at with it, to be honest. After watching, I mean, I agree with you what you said. None of us really knew about Scull. People who say they did a lying or watch way too much boxing before the Vladimir Shiskin fight and him winning the IBF belt. But I did watch the fight and I saw that he is sloppy. And Canelo, if Canelo's a fraction of the Canelo that we know, he should be stopping him, like you said, Liam, earlier, and it's a poor performance. If not, I think it'd be second half of the fight, if I'm being honest. I think if he goes and blows him out in a few rounds, that would be a statement, irrespective of Scull's pedigree. I think that would be like a right, Crawford, let's do it kind of thing. I think it'd be second half of the fight, but I do agree. I think he stops him. And, look, he's been on the run of decisions, Belanga, Charlo, Munguia, XYZ, John Ryder, I think, was in there as well, wasn't he? Since his last knockout against Caleb Plant. I actually think Scull's a step down in competition versus those guys. Look, if Canelo just wins a decision that he's won in those fights I've just spoke about before, he's had like a knockdown in most of them fights, but not, looked like he carried Munguia through. Belanga fight was actually a decent fight last time out. Canelo's got to go and knock Scull out. I'm not saying, obviously winning's the priority, but if you want to drum up the interest in the Crawford fight in September, which is probably signed, sealed, and delivered behind the scenes, you have to go and stop William Scull. Second half stoppage for me, boys. But yeah, Canelo needs to
look. Turkey's paid a shit ton of money for Canelo, right? One thing about Turkey, what people may or may not realize, is he's heavily involved in Saudi politics, right? So he's not just a businessman. This guy is involved in everything, right? And as quick as he will bring you in and embrace you and put you up on a pedestal, he'll shut you down and shut you out. He has not brought Canelo over there to piss around. And if Canelo doesn't give him the performance, he won't get the fights, mate. I'm telling you. Because we all know that Canelo's not got long left, so it's not as though he needs to tickle him to get 5 years out of him, because Canelo ain't got 5 years. He's got 2 at most. At most. So Canelo, more so than any other time, is under a lot of pressure, believe it or not. The pressure is all on Canelo. Yeah. That's why Scull is a live dog. Only just. He's a live dog. And that's if Canelo takes his eye off the ball and he's looking past him, which I don't think he will. I think he's a consummate professional. But that's Scull's only chance is to do like what happened to Munguia and just get a Hail Mary from nowhere and knock him out.
Yeah.
I said on someone's thread on Twitter during the week that there's not many Canelo dances left. So any chance to see Canelo is one us as fans have got to take. But the reality is, I don't want to see another opponent of the level of Belanga, of the level of Scull, regardless of if he's got the belt or not after this fight. If he's got 2 or 3 fights left, give us Crawford. From a British point of view, we take Eubank Jr. Okay, not the greatest fight, but we take it. Maybe even look at Benavidez or someone like that. If he's got 2 or 3 fights left after this, forget the belts. The WBC, Maurizio won't strip you, Canelo. You still have at least one of those belts. It just needs to be big fights after this. That's what it needs to be. And Turkey should demand bigger fights. He can get away with selling this one because there's a chance to pick up the other belt and become undisputed again. But afterwards, it can't be this B-side level of opponent. It's got to go back up to being people that can genuinely challenge him because he's not been challenged since Bivol beat him.
The grinder, Fred. I saw your comment on the grinder, Fred, Liam.
And on that bombshell, we'll leave it there. Oh dear! Right, we'll see you shortly for a new A card, and that's the last one of the evening. Pat, Mitch, thanks for your
introduction,
boys. Jane, Liam, thank you, boys. We'll see you shortly.